Hey guys, it's Gaijin Hunter, and Capcom just did their Developer Diary Final. This is the last DLC for Monster Hunter Iceborne. They'll still be doing like event quests and looping those throughout the weeks, but as far as free updates such as monsters and stuff like that, this is going to be the final update coming October 1st. Now outside of course Fatalis, which is the main sort of gem here, the recreation of its map from scratch, brand new guild characters, story, it looks like it's going to be a real big deal. There was also some really other big sort of updates that they snuck in there that were a little hard to catch, so let's go over everything. Quickly before I do though, I just want to note that there's a lot of people that I think are going to be a little disappointed that they're ending sort of the big update cadence of Monster Hunter Iceborne a year after its release. But this has actually been their plan and the way that they've been doing Monster Hunter for all these years. They bring out a game, they support it for a year, and then they come out with something new. This kind of fantasy that a lot of Western developers and publishers have of having a base game that you just keep adding content to throughout the years is not something that Capcom normally does or wants to do. They like to embrace and do completely new stuff, which is exactly the reason why we got something as revolutionary as Monster Hunter World in the first place. So for those of you who love the game and wanted them to keep adding monsters and content for years to come, I say I get it. I understand it's okay to feel sad, but you know what? They're going to be working on the next best thing, so it gives you something to look forward to. So quick recap of Fatalis, just for those of you who missed it or would like to have the recap. They're recreating Castle Schrade. This is the traditional map where you fight the monster, which means that our group of hunters are going to be leaving the new world and going back to the previous continent that all the other Monster Hunter games took place on in order to help defend against this crazy beast which is going to reappear. The map's going to have all sorts of tools like ballista, cannonballs, dragonators, things for you to use, which tells me that it's not going to be a new siege format, which I'm actually kind of happy because you know what, we already have Safajiva and Kolv. We didn't need a brand new siege format, but you know what, we still haven't seen gameplay, so I actually don't know. It might be a siege, we'll find out. They're introducing a brand new character, so they're really going all out when it comes to story, and the story is going to involve the excitable A-lister from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate as well, so we're going to get a little backstory on him. Oh my gosh, the armor looks so good, and all the weapons. This is the traditional design, but given a fresh new coat of paint, obviously, because it's Iceborne. These look fantastic. Look at that bow, look at that armor. I could not be happier to see this sort of like revised version of its classic armor. Look at this palico. It's a full-out Fatalis, and your weapon is a hunter who's unconscious, and you're swinging him around like a sword. And when you have it sheathed, it looks like he's riding you. Seriously, this palico armor makes the update worth it alone. Now for its special armor skill, they weren't willing to say, but in the Japanese version they actually gave more hints than they did in the English one. They said, look, you know you have like the secret skill level, like the, you know, when you go over the cap for certain skills. They said, well, Fatalis is like the top monster in the world, so, you know, its armor will take all the different secret skills and then they just leave it off. So in Japanese, it sounds very much like they're about to say it unlocks the secret levels of every skill. Now, if that's how it's going to be, and let's say it's like a 1 piece or 2 armor piece skill, that is going to open up so many different mixed sets. Like imagine you want Slugger Secret, you want Agitator Secret, any secret you want, just throw on a few pieces or even just maybe 1 piece of Fatalis, and you can do that. It's going to really open up the game and make everybody want to hunt this monster. Now, if they want to sort of like copy what they did with Atal Ka in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, what they could do is just have it so that a few pieces of Fatalis unlock the secret skill levels for any skill that has it. And then they just have the armor have an absolute crazy amount of decoration slots. That would encourage people to use this set, to play the game a lot to get all the decorations they want, and so that they can pretty much craft their own dream set. Yeah, so that's Fatalis, super exciting. Now going on to all the other updates, this is I kind of laughed at because a lot of people say that the Clutch Claw is too powerful and they need to nerf it or get rid of it or something like that. They're doubling down. They're adding in a brand new skill which is going to power up the Clutch Claw. So this will give all weapons an equal playing field. If you're using a heavy weapon, you were able to tenderize in one shot, but you didn't get the slinger ammo, now you do. If you use this with a lighter weapon, you still get the slinger ammo, but now you can tenderize in just 1 hit. So this is huge, and it's going to make the Clutch Claw even more powerful. They're also going to be finally unlocking all the different armor sets for layered armor, so all you fashion hunters can go crazy now. Everything will be made available, so that's great. Okay, and now they just sort of went crazy. They just started going through new features without really talking about them, but some of these are really big. So they're adding in obviously Fatalis in the update. They're also adding in Arc-Tempered Velkhana, which is something they didn't even mention, but it is available in a limited time event quest. I don't know how I feel about that. I think being the flagship monster, it should be available more often or just available always, but that also hints that the set or the weapons are going to be really good. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And of course the Clutch Claw boost, which they just talked about. And then they gave this screen with tons of small little updates, but there's some really big ones here. They're going to have Soulstream 3 being added for more decorations. You can start melding decorations using your Rarity 9 and above ones as materials. And the next one is the big one, and this is something that I really wanted to see. You are now going to be able to meld the Elementalist, Shield Jewel, Sharp Jewel, Dragon Seal, Mighty Bow, and Mind's Eye decorations. So RNG, get out of here. Like finally these core set pieces are something that we can meld. So very happy to see them fix this wrong, which has been bothering me for a long time. And then all sorts of other cool stuff like new BGM could be placed in your room, new designs for your squad cards, layered armors, which they talked about, new pendants. Decker rewards adding as a Steamworks Overdrive bonus item is interesting because, as I did a video on it, Steamworks is very easy to use and abuse, so hopefully they have some cool items added. This next one is kind of crazy, and they even call it a major adjustment. It says, wounds inflicted on monsters now take longer to disappear. Does that mean that the Clutch Claw is going to be even more effective? Or are they trying to limit the amount of times that you have to do Clutch Claw? Like, as long as you do it once, it'll weaken the part for quite a long period of time? I don't know. We're going to have to wait, see, test it out, and find out. But either way, that seems like it's going to be a pretty big change. They're going to have better sort of rates here for the carved and sealed face stones, which is great. They're going to have better drop rates for the sealed face stones as investigation rewards. They're adding in some new charms and new levels, so lots of cool stuff here, which is going to change sort of, everyone's armors and all the stuff that they're going to be going for. Then they started showing off, obviously, the new guild cards with the update they're going to be adding in. New squad cards, all sort of based on Fatalis here in the wings. And then a whole bunch of really cool add-on content. So we got these like weird pendants, if you're into that. It's Flying Poogie. This crazy sort of octopus looking thing that follows you around. Let's see, we got the squawking rubber chickens. Hate those things in real life. Some other cool pendants that are like pendulums, new room decor, stuff like that, all themed off of Fatalis for a lot of these scenes. Some cool dolls of all the monsters. This one of Rajang is cute. So yeah, lots of fun stuff for you to spend some extra money on and to do some more add-on content. Then for the next festival, they're gearing up for Halloween with the fun Frightfest. That's a mouthful, try to say that 3 times fast. Where everything is themed off of Halloween, so very spooky, very gothy, I love it. We of course have a very cute little Frankenstein-like Palico, and that's not a hunter, that's the handler, that's right, she looks great. I know there's going to be jokes about her covering up her face with her hair and people didn't like what she looked like, I think she's fine, but the outfit itself is just fire. Here's the male hunter special armor. Here's the one for the female. I love it. I'm going to make it. It's so cool. And we have some nice Poogie stuff if you care about the Poogies. And some new snowmans and other fun stuff as well. So lots of goofy fun stuff for the festival. As if that wasn't enough, now they have the Fest Rush leading up to Fatalis. So they want people to be able to have fun until Fatalis comes out. So obviously they're doing reruns of the previous festivals, which is a great opportunity to get anything you may have missed. And they're adding in some new quests in that map in which you faced Velkhana in the story. If you remember it was only used for like one hunt, but it was a really fun map. It was almost like a new arena type place. Had tons of like armaments. You had like the Gatling gun on rails. You had cannonballs and stuff like that. So they're finally adding in, you'll have Kushala Daora, you'll have Teostra, and it seems we'll be able to abuse Lunastra in this area as well. So this is the final roadmap of all the new content that they're going to be adding. They had a really sort of, a video that really got me kind of emotional. It went through all the different content that they've had ever since World came out. They had like the World trailer, all the DLC, they had the Iceborne stuff, all the DLC, they had community pictures of people hunting and enjoying the game together. It was super well done, super emotional, and I think really all of us can look back at it and say, wow, what an achievement that they accomplished, not just from financial sales, but from the community and just the amount of content that these teams have pushed out over the last few years. It's really something. And now for my tinfoil hat, which I refuse to take off. I won't shut up about it on Twitter or even YouTube for that matter, but obviously these teams are going to be going on to make the next gen Monster Hunter game, which would be like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC. That's not going to come out in like a year. You'd be crazy to think that. It's probably going to take them several years, and they're probably already working on it. So they need something in the meantime, and I do honestly think that the next game is going to be possibly a Monster Hunter for the Switch. All signs point to it. I did a video recently talking about like every time they finish their year of DLC and event quest and support for one game, that generally starts out with them announcing a new game that they're working on. So I'm more excited than ever for next month, which is September, which is Tokyo Game Show month, which is when they traditionally would announce a new title. They've done that like 6 times in the past already. So yeah, I'm excited for what the series has next. Not only for the next game, for the next game. Like, what are these guys doing on the next gen hardware? I think it's going to be pretty cool. Either way, it's been a challenging year for everybody, including game development around the world with all the situations that's been going on. So hats off to this team for just having a fantastic 2020 and giving us something fun to enjoy when the rest of the world really is not. Anyways, that is the recap of the event, all the stuff they announced, all those crazy changes. Again, I can't believe they just glossed over the fact that they're adding in meldable decorations for those ones that we really wanted. That's huge. Very excited. I hope they do some other small tweaks, like to the guiding lands. I hope they tweak the level up system, or they just remove the cap thing. That would be nice, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to put a link in the description to the official developer diary so you can see this full ending sequence. Just listen to it with music, like just enjoy the memories. I think you will get emotional as well. It was really well done, and I'm kind of cutting it off midway here. But that's the end of the video, and I don't want to ramble on. I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of recap, my feelings, and until next time, happy hunting.